Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mark with Sound Theory Studio. It's been a long time since my last lesson. Sorry about that. Just been working on a lot of other things. But I got a question on one of my videos, the alternate picking video. And the question was just about picking technique and the proper way to hold the pick as far as the angle and all that. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, see if I can get that question answered. So when you're alternate picking and when you're speed picking, there's a few different things you can do. I'm hesitant to say there is one right way to go about doing this because I've seen guitarists take on different techniques and be really successful at it. I'll tell you what I do as far as holding the pick and the angle. So basically, if you put the pick between your index finger and thumb and kind of hold it out in front of you like that. And what I end up doing is just kind of pretend like this is the key to your car, and you put the key in the ignition, and then you turn it like that. So basically you're turning it down toward the floor. So that's the way I hold the pick when I'm doing my speed picking. Now when I'm doing regular picking and I'm not playing all that fast, I typically pick with the pick flat against the strings. The reason for that is because I think if you pick flat against the strings, you're probably going to get the best sound. So if you're playing slow enough to be able to do that, I think that you should. But when you start really playing fast, what you'll see is that when you flat pick like that, you're going to get a lot of resistance against the strings, and a lot of times the pick will get kind of held up, and it's really hard to play fast and cleanly with what I call flat picking, just the pick flat against the strings with no angle to it. So when I start to speed things up a bit, I do that movement where I've got the pick like this. Say this is the string and this is the pick, and it's flat against the string. So turn it like you would your key in the car. Now it's picking, the pick is kind of angled down toward the floor, and it's more cutting at the string than hitting it, just flat on like that. That gets rid of a lot of the resistance when you have it angled like that. As far as a degree, I would say it's kind of a 45-degree angle toward the floor. Now that's how I do it. So when I have the pick angled like that, there's basically no resistance between the pick and the string, which is what you want when you're playing really fast. It's the only way to do it without the pick getting kind of hung up and messing up your rhythm. So the reason why I said at the beginning of the video that I'm kind of hesitant to tell you that there's just one way to do this, though, is that I have seen certain guitarists, they have the pick like this, and here's the string, and they point it up toward the ceiling. Now, Marty Friedman comes to mind from Megadeth. He does that, and probably several other guitar players do too, and with great success. And I believe Sean Lane actually plays that way as well, or did play that way. So it certainly is an option, and you can try. I guess my recommendation would be to try both and see which is more comfortable for you. However, I would start with the pick angled toward the floor, which is the first one I showed you and the way I do it, simply because for every guitarist I've ever met that picked with the angle up toward the ceiling, I could name at least 10 others that picked the other way with the pick angled down toward the floor. So for most guitarists, that's what ends up feeling the most comfortable. So start with that, angle it 45 degrees downward toward the floor. Focus on as little resistance as possible. Now, of course, and as little movement as possible as well. I mean, remember, when you're speed picking, especially alternate picking, you don't want this hand making big movements, really. You want it to be making the smallest movements possible. It's called economy of motion, which I've talked about in other videos many times. The less motion, the faster you'll go. Just makes logical sense, right? Now, one thing I will point out is that you don't want to angle the pick too much. After you get past that 45-degree angle, let's say you're picking practically straight down toward the floor. It turns into a mess, right? So some of what you're going to need to practice is finding the right angle for you. I think just a perfect 45-degree angle works great, but you can mess around with that a little bit. You will hear that as you angle the pick more and more, you're going to get a different kind of tone with your picking. A flat pick with no angle sounds the best, really. And as you angle it, can see the more I angle it, the more scratchy sound you get. Then that's kind of something you don't want. I mean, unless that's the sound you're going for, but you know, most of the time that's not what you're going for. So, angle 45 degrees, which is what I'm doing now. Hard to tell the difference between that and flat picking. I mean, it doesn't sound quite as good to me, but it sounds really, really close. And when you're playing fast, you know, that would be hard to hear anyway. So anyway, that is the key to speed picking as far as the angle of the pick. I hope that was helpful. Of course, there's a lot more we can talk about when it comes to speed picking, but just keep the following things in mind. Do all alternate picking. Yes, there is a time for economy picking. There is a time for sweep picking. But, you know, most of the time, alternate picking is the way to go for almost every riff. You know, maybe arpeggios being the exception where you might sweep pick. Think economy of motion. Keep your movements with your picking hand small and quick to get that real, you know, fast speed going. And angle it at a angle to where it still sounds good, but at the same time, the pick isn't giving you a lot of resistance against the string, which will definitely mess you up in a hurry if you don't do that. So I hope that helped, and thanks for watching this short video, and I hope there's more coming soon as I find time. And please feel free to put questions in the comments. I really appreciate that, and maybe I'll make another video based on some of your questions. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.